Okay, and I'm sorry, Rod, if you can repeat, what we can do at this particular point is do the welcome. Is that right?
Actually, we can do everything. Now that Francina's here, you have a quorum, ready to meet.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Rod. I'd like to call the meeting to order. I believe it's about 3:04 p.m. on Friday, September 11th. Welcome, everyone. Before we get started, I'd actually like to pose a moment of silence for September 11th for those who have lost their lives, the families that were impacted, and of course, the impact that it has had on this nation as well. So if we could pause, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone. Again, welcome, everyone. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the minutes? Are there any concerns, any adjustments regarding the minutes?
None.
Okay, I'd like to move that we approve the minutes. Can I have a motion?
This is Olga. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second.
Thank you so much.
And at this time, I'll do the roll call.
Okay, thank you.
Kelvin Arthur. Harshad Barat. Francina Harrison.
Present.
Ed Hopper.
Present.
And this is a roll call vote. So when you say present, you also are meaning, and yes, I vote to approve the minutes, right?
That's right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rod. Ron Lewis. Ron Lewis, I see you here. I'll come back. Clarence Neely. Clarence Neely. Unmute your phone. Thank you.
Present. There we go.
Francis Thompson.
Approved.
Olga Torres.
Present.
Damon Watson.
Present and approved.
Sheila Johnson.
Present, approved.
And Ron Lewis. He is on the call, but he is muted. Okay, there were seven votes for yes.
Thank you so much, Lavera. And so we can move on to industry hour, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And so is our guest here, Lavera?
Yes, he is. Mr. Soares is here.
Okay, great. So our industry hour speaker on today is Mr. Soares. Mr. Soares, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And Mr. Soares is the Special Assistant for Board Appointments and the Director of Asian American and Pacific Islander American Outreach. He is from the office of the Governor Ralph Northam. And so, Mr. Soares, please take it away. Welcome.
Great. Well, first I wanted to start off by saying thank you all for having me again here today to give you all a brief overview of my role in the governor's administration at the moment. I also wanted to commend you all for the work you're doing to promoting and facilitating the growth of minority and women-owned businesses in the Commonwealth. Since joining the governor's administration about 2 months ago, I've connected with a lot of community members across the Commonwealth, and I've listened to their stories and some of the hardships they face as being a member of a minority community, especially during this hard time. As Director of Asian American and Pacific Islander American Outreach, it's my job to make sure that the AAPI constituency group has a voice in the administration and that all concerns are heard and elevated to the right people, whether that be various secretariats, agency officials, or even sometimes the governor if it gets to that point. And it's also my job to assist in connecting constituents with state resources and making sure that the resources the state has are made aware of. Another small role within that director outreach position is keeping track of religious and cultural holidays, observances, or celebrations. So I ask that you all please reach out to me at any point if you know of any events along those lines so that the governor can be made aware of and possibly join in the observance. This includes all public events and festivals as well. I know not many of these are happening at this moment given our current health crisis, but in the future, please at any time reach out if you or your organization are hosting or attending an event so that I can make sure that the governor knows and can maybe make a social media post or maybe even write a letter for the event. Also, if you notify me about your event or even like a virtual webinar you guys are hosting, I can include that in my weekly newsletter that goes out to hundreds of AAPI community members across Virginia. And I also ask that you please let all of your fellow community members know to sign up for our weekly newsletters on the governor's website. It includes things like administration updates, upcoming events, and possible resources that the state has to offer. We have newsletters that pertain to most constituency groups, including the Hispanic and Latinx community, the African American community, the LGBTQIA+ community, the women's community, and the Indigenous Indian community. To sign up for our newsletters, you can go to the Secretary of the Commonwealth's website and then go over to the Constituent Services page, and then you should see it there. In the last few months that I have joined this role, we have had 2 events that have targeted the AAPI community. One was our COVID-Wise webinar, in which we gave a pretty basic overview of the COVID-Wise contact tracing app and how to use it. And then we also had our census webinar last week, which gave some good insight on the importance of completing this year's census and why it's so important to be counted. Overall, the webinar went really great, and it's just another way to make sure that we get as close to 100% complete count of all Virginians. During my time in the administration, the governor has also stepped up in helping constituents facing hardship during this pandemic by implementing programs such as the Virginia Rent and Mortgage Relief Program to support housing stability across the Commonwealth, and as well as the Rebuild VA grant program, which assists small business owners whose operations have been disrupted due to COVID-19 by helping them apply for grants up to $10,000. Applications for this grant are still available, and you can find them at governor.virginia.gov/rebuildva. The administration is also working hard to break down the language barriers by translating all executive orders and community resource information pages to multiple languages, including Arabic, Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese, Spanish, Tagalog, and more. In addition to my role as Director of AAPI Outreach, I also serve as the Special Assistant for Board Appointments. I wanted to give you all a basic overview of what I do in this role as well. In this role, I work with the Director of Appointments, and we are tasked with assisting in making roughly 700 to 900 appointments per year for over 300 boards, commissions, and councils across the Commonwealth. These boards encompass most industries, including business, health, agriculture, and public safety, and much more. These boards basically are, you can work in either the policy side of it. There's some policy boards. There are advisory boards in which you would help in advising various agency heads about the field, and a few more as well. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because Governor Northam and Secretary Thompson have expressed their desire to maximize diversity in all the boards so that it represents the people of Virginia. With that being said, we would love to have more and more individuals from minority communities apply for the various boards and commissions in order to get a chance to represent their community. I will say some of the more popular boards get dozens and sometimes hundreds of applications, but there are a lot of boards that don't get as many applications, and we just try to elevate the idea to just apply for any boards that may interest you, just as you never know what could happen. So I ask that you all let your friends, family, community members, and colleagues know to apply for some of the boards that interest them, so we can get more minority representation in that regard. And that's pretty much all I have to say today. In closing, I just wanted to say thank you all for having me here again and speaking during this meeting. And thank you all once again for helping promoting minority-owned businesses in the Commonwealth. Cannot wait to see all the continued progress that gets done in the time to come, especially as we build each other up during this pandemic. So I can, if there's a chat here, I can put my email address in the chat if you'd ever want to reach out to me. Let me know if I can ever support you in any way, and I'm always open to a conversation. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suarez. Kudos for all that you're doing as relates to state of Virginia. Thank you so much for that diversity component, diversity and inclusion. One of the questions that I did have for you, you had mentioned that if in fact we have an event, whether it's virtual or in person, there is a newsletter that you all have available. And I think you mentioned several other channels that could be utilized to sort of share information in regards to the Virginia Beach Minority Business Council. Can you give me, and I think one of those included a weekly meeting. I think you could share information as to what Virginia Beach Minority Business Council or other organizations may be doing to positively impact state of Virginia. And so in regards to those things regarding the newsletter and regarding your weekly report, what sort of timeline is necessary for us to be included in either of those items, those platforms?
Yeah, no, if you're having an event or a webinar, you can at any time reach out to me, and I can, if just depending on what the event is, I can also elevate that to my superiors, and then we would love to have that event posted in our newsletters. And I can also send that event information to all the other outreach directors for the Hispanic and Latinx community and the rest, to get those to their constituents as well.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Like I said, we have a number of events that usually happen when COVID is not in existence, but of course we're looking at utilizing virtual platforms to continue with those events, and we would love to have you and others engaged at that level. The other question that I have for you, you had mentioned the Rebuild Virginia grant for small and minority businesses, I believe you said. And the grant is, if someone may be able to obtain a grant for up to $10,000. Can you share with me, what's the deadline for that? Is that going? Can you share more information in regards to that specific grant?
Sure. I think the applications maybe end in November, but as of now, they're still ongoing, and I think the governor is trying to push that deadline as much as he can. So if you want to go to the website, I think it's governor.virginia.gov/rebuildva. You can find more information and a video to watch about an easier way to apply for the grant, as well as information sheets in multiple languages about the grant program.
Okay, fantastic. And for some reason, I don't think our chat is working well. So any information that you shared on today, that you highlighted, or anything as it relates to those specific two questions, could you please send that over to Lavera Tolentino? And she would be able to ensure that we get what we need for support. Thank you so much.
I can definitely do that. And if you ever have any questions or anything, you can feel free to email me, which is my first name dot my last name, SHAWN.SOARES@governor.virginia.gov.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Are there any additional questions?
I have one if possible.
Yes, Damon.
Hey, Mr. Soares, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. It's definitely some information we wanted to hear. I do know you mentioned appointees. The Virginia Beach Minority Council of Virginia Beach had a lot to do with the Virginia State Commission that's going on. and I've been trying to get conversations about their appointees. I know the Senate still has not picked their members yet. Is there a better source of information of somebody I can reach out to get information on that? Because I know we've seen so I don't think anybody from the Hampton Roads region has been selected for that appointmentship yet.
For which commissioner board are you talking about specifically?
The Virginia, the one the governor just put in, the Minority Business Commission.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I can try to follow up with you on that. You can also reach out to me, and I can forward that to our director as well. I think appointments have been made, but I'm not 100% sure. But I can follow up with you on that.
I definitely appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I also have a question. Is it feeding back?
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask about more information, as Damon just mentioned, about how to exactly how to apply to serve on a board or commission, so that we can pass that information on to other business leaders and other community leaders. Is there a website specifically, or should we just, I mean, how can you go about applying for a board?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can actually go to the Secretary of the Commonwealth's website, which you can also find if you go to governor.virginia.gov. Once you're on the Secretary of the Commonwealth's website, there will be an option or a page that says appointments. And over there, you can get a brief description of all the over 300 boards and commissions that we have opportunities to serve on, as well as some of the seats that are open as well. So if you go on that page, you can find all the information and apply on there as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Olga. I've got a question, Mr. Shore. Is Maribel Castañeda, I have her as a contact as Director of Appointments and Director of Latino Outreach. Is she?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good, thank you. I have that information and I'm glad to pass it along to everyone else.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you,
Thank you.
Olga. Are there any additional questions? No? If not, thank you once again, Mr. Soares. Thank you so much for your time on today. Thank you so much for the information. It was truly helpful. And we will certainly be in touch with you. And thank you once again for your time. Have a great day. And you're welcome to stay or leave. Thank you so much. And so we're going to move into committee reports. We're going to start with outreach. And before we do that, I think all of you all may have received the communication by now that Colleen Nabhan has resigned for personal reasons. I want to say she was definitely extremely passionate about what she did as relates to the outreach committee. She was driven and she was a force. And so we're certainly going to miss that energy, but we certainly do wish her well. And so with that being said, I have reached out to Damon, and I have asked Damon to sort of lead the committee at this particular point. And Damon, if you could just sort of jump on and share with us kind of where you are, because I think last meeting we were discussing our fall event, our signature event. We were talking about moving that to a virtual platform. And so I'm going to allow you to sort of pick up and speak from here.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. I definitely appreciate that. And coming off of what you said as well, her work here is truly appreciated and it will be missed. But, you know, we want to wish her the best on her endeavors. I do plan on reaching out to her to get a follow-up. I know last time we spoke, we were conversing about, you know, what everybody thought would be a good opinion and doing things virtually. So I think we want to lead more to that. I don't want to get too much into discussion because I definitely want to speak with the rest of the committee before I even come forth and see what the best option is. But I do plan on following up with Ms. Colleen within the next couple of days to see where she was leading. And then, you know, with the recommendation from everyone else, take over from where she was leading and you know, try to do my best to keep that momentum going so we can continue to build off of everything we've done over the past couple of years.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Damon. We really appreciate that. And thank you for stepping up to the plate. And so we're going to move into minority awareness. And I don't know if it's just me, but This presentation is very small. And so we're going to move into minority awareness. And Francis, if you can, please.
Okay, yes, I'm ready. I just would like to say good afternoon to everyone. And the Minority Awareness Report is being submitted at this time. Just take a note of our social media presence. Jaquita is taking care of that. She's handling our social media, and she's doing a great job. However, with the pandemic and not the kind of inactivity of the commission, we really haven't been doing a lot, so we haven't had a lot of promoting on it, but we have done some, and we are seeing, as we do each month, a little bit of an increase, and you can just note that how we're increasing on each one. Facebook, of course, is increasing. There was no change to the Instagram account, but we still have over 300 followers. In the area of strategies, and we will continue to, if you would help me to continue to improve and increase our social media presence, you can do that by sharing, by inviting people to like and share our posts, and by inviting people to like the pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In the area of strategies, I mentioned in our last meeting that I was very interested in getting our Kempsville High School Entrepreneurship and Business Academy in partnership with us. I just thought that with them having, minority students, women, young women who were looking to become entrepreneurs, this would be a perfect time for us to mentor them and collaborate with them. And so I did reach out to Megan Timlin. She is the administrator of the academy, and she was fired up. She was on fire. She was very happy. She has been to our meetings a couple of times and has made presentations. So the two of us came up with a couple of strategies that we thought would work for the students. And I've got them outlined here in the report, but essentially we're going to get involved with the academy. And the first way we're going to do it is do a presentation to the academy. And Olga has consented to do that on next Friday at 3:00. And she's going to do a virtual presentation to the students there at Kempsville High School, the Entrepreneurship Academy. So we're excited about that. That will prepare them for some who may possibly want to attend the meeting in October. And then we are going to start to invite them. I'm asking that we remember to include Megan on our monthly invitation list when we invite all of the members and associates and the general public. We would like to specifically invite Megan Timlin, and so she can pass the invitation on to all of the students there, and they can join the meeting virtually, to be a part of the meeting each month, and they can receive community service credits because of their involvement. And then the last thing we wanted to do was to invite two of the high school or senior high school students who are entrepreneurs, academy students, to be junior associates that we could invite to be a part of the Minority Business Council. They could serve on subcommittees beside our current associates. They would be recommended by the program administrator, so they would be students who are serious about becoming business owners. And they would do research, they'd help with social media. Of course, that would be their thing, and outreach and assisting any area that we might need. And that would be I'm very excited about doing that. I would call them junior associates, but if you have some other name that you all might think may be more appropriate, they would be mentored by me or whoever the current MAC committee chair would be. And they would be kind of serving according to however we may see the need. The Academy did send some documents attached to their email that they responded to me and let me know that there is a whole set of forms that we have to fill out and complete that will solidify our partnership. And the forms give us permission to work with the students and give the parameters of how things would work. So we're going to review those documents carefully. make sure that, our interests are protected as well as the students' interest, and make sure that Rod reviews them as well, all of those documents, to make sure that if there's anything else that we need to put in place to make sure that these students are, protected and we are protected, we'll make sure that all of our paperwork is on point. So that's really the essence of what we've been doing. And I'm really very excited about our partnership with that academy. That was one of our goals, was to just kind of get the Minority Business Council out there with more information and getting people to know more about us. And so we just appreciate Ms. Timlin for her input and the fact that she is so excited about us becoming a part of it. I do want to announce that we have not been having our meetings regularly because of the pandemic. But Francina, I don't know if she's on the line, but she did reach out to me and let me know that I do believe Rod approved that we could have our subcommittee meetings virtually. So Francina or Rod, do you want to type in on that part?
That's right. Just like we're doing this main MBC meeting virtually, you can do your committee meetings virtually, but you need to coordinate with Lavera because we have to get out the notice and those things. And Francis, you're fortunate that Francina is Zoom savvy, so she can do all these things. But if you are a committee chair and your committee isn't quite as technologically advanced, Lavera and city staff can help. You just got to give us enough lead time so we can fit that in. But while I'm speaking, let me just say what I've been thinking ever since this meeting started. Francis, you win the award for best virtual meeting background. I mean, you got the white films and you got the big bay window and the outsides coming in. If you were being rated on Twitter, you'd get a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, we were using Zoom. We can upload our photos and do all that, but WebEx, y'all just, I know it's there somewhere, but so.
Sure. I'll also add that I spoke with Office of Volunteer Resources. One of the things that is important to these two students is that they get credit for the work they're doing. And fortunately, we're not having to start at square one. The Historic Preservation Commission has a student advisory committee, and the Volunteer Resources Office has already interfaced with Virginia Beach City Public Schools. So what will happen is these two students, if the MBC approves this junior associate program, would provide Francis with their hours each month. And when Francis submits her hours to Keith for her volunteer service, she would add the two students, and Keith will report that, and Volunteer Resources will transfer that information to schools, and everybody gets credit.
Awesome.
Right, and Francis, also, I just want to say I definitely want to chat with you so I can give you all the other information that Rod shared. So not just for our committee meetings, but even whatever we do on a grander scale, like what we're doing with our meeting right now for virtual events or presentations, what our guidelines and our requirements are. But I am excited that we're in the 21st century. I'm just, look at this. It's a smile, But we'll chat so I can bring you up to speed.
That sounds good. That sounds good. I think my only question, I better get Rod while I've got him on the meeting, is do we have to use WebEx, or may we use any platform to maybe use Zoom? Do we have to use WebEx to get the meeting?
You may use Zoom.
Okay.
If you want staff to do the heavy work, then we're going to use WebEx because that's what we know.
Okay.
But if you're lucky enough to have a Francina on your committee who can do all the Zooming herself and send Lavera the link, so the member of the public, I know it's unlikely that a member of the public is going to want to join the meeting, but we got to follow the law. We got to post the notice. We got to allow the member of the public to participate if he wants to. So as long as Francina is working with Lavera so Lavera can get out the notice, y'all can do whatever platform you want.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that's the end of my report. I guess we will turn to Sheila for the vote to accept the report and accept the recommendations that we're making. That's all. I have to give my thank yous. I have to give my thank yous out.
Go ahead, Francis. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just was saying I have to give my thank yous out to Lavera and Keith and Nikita, to the whole department, for all that you do to continue to support us. So I don't know what's going on with us reading back, but anyway, that's the next thing we need, is the vote
Absolutely.
to accept.
And I have to agree with Rod, but since I've been sitting here, I've been looking at the trees in the back. It's like, oh my God, I wish I was outside as well. And so I'm voting for you as well, Francis. Thank you so much. And then I also wanted to say thank you so much, Francis, for you and the team, and all the heavy lifting that you all have done to really do the research in regards to this program, before you actually brought it back to the NBC. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the impact that it will not only have on the 2 students for this year, but moving forward as well. Again, as you mentioned, this was something that we've been wanting to do for years, to sort of mentor these young folk and to get them engaged, involved at this level. And so this is very exciting. One of the questions that I had for you, though, you had mentioned that, of course, you gave the presentation, but you had mentioned that there were some additional documents that needed to be reviewed, et cetera, by Rod, by you, or whatever. And so not necessarily my apprehension, but since those documents have not been reviewed, Rod hadn't looked at them, I guess my question is, at this particular point, do we vote, do we say, yes, we'd like to move forward with the program contingent upon the documents, or what do we do at this particular point, Rod?
I believe Francis copied me on an email that included some of those forms, but I don't think the forms are going to be a barrier. My recommendation is that Francis fill out the forms, then send them to me. I'll take a look at them, but I don't think that's going to be a barrier. I think if someone were to make a motion to approve Francis's proposal for a junior associate pilot program, and a second, and y'all vote for it, then Francis is going to go, and we'll make it happen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rod, for that clarity. Can I get a motion? You're on mute. I believe there are a lot of people talking.
I'm sorry.
Madam
I make
President,
motion forward.
I like to second that motion.
Okay, fantastic. I think we got the motion from Francina, and then someone Olga seconded the motion. Okay, fantastic. And do we ask for discussion at this particular point, Rod?
You may, and if there is none, you'll turn it over to Lavera for the roll call vote.
Okay, fantastic. Is there any additional discussion, anyone? Is Ron Lewis? Ron, are you on the call?
Sheila, I am. I'm back up now. I had to go to my phone.
Okay, fantastic.
Time to update. So yeah, I'm with you. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So it doesn't appear that there is any additional discussion. Great job, Francis, in explaining everything. And so, Lavera, do you want to proceed with the roll call for the vote?
Yes, ma'am. As I call your name, yay or nay? Kelvin Arthur, Harshad Barak, Francina Harrison,
Yay.
Ed Hopper,
Yay.
Ron Lewis, Clarence Neely. You're on mute. Clarence Neely,
Yay.
thank you. Francis Thompson.
Yay. Yay.
Olga Torres,
Yay.
Damon Watson,
Okay.
and Sheila Johnson.
Yay!
That concludes the vote.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Francis. We'll move on to data collection and analysis. Olga?
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
You certainly will.
So the staff may report. The staff is currently working on the fiscal year 2020 annual report and expenditure report. It covers the period of July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020. And this is going to be the last report that we will receive from the old financial system. With the new financial system in place, we will begin receiving quarterly reports for the fiscal year 2021. The first report should be received in October, and the semi-annual report will be received in January. Since we don't normally meet in December, that means that we should be able to review a report for our next meeting in October and the meeting in November this year. Since we are not going to host our annual event, then we will be meeting in November. That is all that I have for this time, Madam Chairman.
I appreciate it. And I don't believe Kelvin is on the call in regards to a policy committee report. Is that correct, Lavera?
That is correct. Kelvin is not on the call.
Is there anyone from policy that may have a report or information to share? No? Okay, we'll move into other business. Staff report. Is Rebecca Key on the line?
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair. I'm here. Members of Minority Business Council, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Rebecca. You have
good. Thank you. Yes, we have some exciting things to report. So the new system is up and running. Some days we love it. Some days we want to throw our computers out the window, but I think that's with any new system. What we do know is that we're capturing data, and that's good for us. We're learning to pull that data out of the system, but we know it's being captured. So we're very excited. We've done a lot of work. Lavera, Keith, Nikita have done a huge amount of work, and a couple folks in the purchasing office as well have been helping to reach out and provide businesses with assistance with registering for the supplier portal. Nikita did several sessions with the suppliers, both before and after the supplier portal went live, helping folks, reaching out one-on-one with businesses to say, hey, you're in there, but your business classifications aren't filled out. Did you mean to miss that? A lot of one-on-one contact. So it's been fast and furious, but it's been wonderful. We also, in that line, have been doing how to do business with the city training sessions. They'll occur virtually twice a month starting in October. And we're not only going to talk to them about the supplier portal information and registration, but also about our SWAM programs and the new initiatives that were passed by recent council and began July 1st. So we want to make sure that businesses understand the importance of certifying and what that can do for them and the benefits of that. Small business has gone virtual. The Small Business Institute, as you know, we've been silent on that since COVID kind of started and got in our way, but we're going to resume that on September 15th virtually. We were having some success with that particular tool, and we don't want that to fall away. So we'll run it once a week for 5 weeks, every Tuesday night from 4 to 6. This year's facilitator is Dream Builders Communications, and we already have 25 small businesses registered. So we're excited about that. I can tell you that we have already, as solicitations have come online, marked some for sheltered bidding and some for enhanced subcontracting. So we're excited that those programs are off the ground. Now, you know, solicitations take a minute, particularly in the new system. So the outcomes of those aren't readily available at this time, but we are marking competitions and saying this one is sheltered just for SWAM registered businesses. And this one, you're going to have to show us that you're going to subcontract with some SWAM businesses. So we are taking that seriously. And as you know, we have a new city manager who has a procurement background and a background in the inclusion and diversity arena, which is fantastic. So he is, of course, taking an extra special interest and going to help us out and with his expertise as well. So I'm super excited about how that's going to go. What he brings to the table for us. Any questions for me? Anything I didn't cover? Okay, thank you. Well, thank you all so much. I can't wait to post you in October. I can't wait to see what these numbers look like. We're excited.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we're going to move on to 2020 Census Subcommittee Report. Olga?
Yes, Madam Chairman. We do not have an update at this time. I think we had a pretty lengthy update during our last MBC meeting. And right now, as of today, we have not received any updates from Ms. Eva Poole. So we're waiting. This is all I can tell you from experience is that this is a time where a lot of the households are being revisited, the ones that have not responded. And there's a big push. I believe that Virginia Beach is still performing really well as compared to the state, but I don't have any particular figures to share. And I hope to have some more updated information at our next meeting in October.
Thank you so much, Olga. We really appreciate it. We're going to move to Minority Business Commission report. Ed or Damon, do you all have anything to report at this time?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give you an update. Just like Mr. Soros said earlier, it was rumored that Senate had made their appointments. I'm looking at the website now. It's still saying that everything is vacant. So I've been unable to get that information. Of course, but the House members are, as I said in the previous meeting, Luke Torian, Kelly Fowler, Suhas Subramaniam, and Jason Meares. As for what I've noticed, nobody's been appointed from our area yet. I believe everybody's from either Roanoke or somewhere out further west. But as soon as I can get more information on who the Senate members are and the citizen members appointed by the Senate, I will let everybody know. So as of now, 7 out of the 13 positions have been filled. So we're just waiting for the Senate members, which are 3, and the 3 citizen members that the Senate appoints.
We definitely need to make a big push for somebody in Hampton Roads to be picked.
Absolutely. You know, I definitely, I'm doing my part. And of course, if everybody can please hop in and do the same, I definitely feel like somebody from the Hampton Roads area needs to be on this list, if not 2 more members. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. I know when the gentleman spoke earlier about the application process to even get submitted to these board things. Was that the same process for this newly created board? Because that kind of, this sort of had its own genesis. So the folks who are in Hampton Roads that are interested, do we know if have they done that application process, or are they kind of in a purgatory in between, like a special appointment with this versus the protocol of what's supposed to happen with normal board appointments?
Well, I'm gonna tell you how it's been from inception when we first began this whole process. It was originally stated that the governor himself will pick the House members and the citizen members from this. So there was no application process that we were told of. While conversing with everybody about this recently, this is the first time I ever heard about an appointment application process needed to be done. I don't know if that actually goes to this commission itself, but that's why I do plan to reach out to Mr. Soros actually after this. I've been speaking to Ms. Lindsay Watson and I believe Jessica Cobb, who are supposed to be in charge of this, and neither of them have mentioned a process as far as, filling out an application. Because I stated that, we have people in the Hampton Roads area that would like to be on this, and that was never mentioned. But I would definitely do a follow-up now that I've heard that and see if that is a process that needs to be done.
Thank you, Damon. Any other questions for Damon? Okay, fantastic. We're going to move to economic development report. Is Jeff on the line.
I'm
Hi,
afraid you
this
got
is
me this week,
Letitia.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry.
Is
This
it,
is Letitia Lancaster. I'm with Economic Development. Jeff was not able to make it to be on the call, and he did ask that I share with you that we'll be having our annual golf event on October 30th, which is next month. If you have any questions, please reach out to Jeff Smith or myself. Again, my name is Letitia Lancaster. And that's it.
Madam Chair, if I can jump in. Hey, first of all, how are you, Madam Chair? Hi, everybody. It's nice. This is Taylor. It's nice to be with all of you again. If you forgive the artwork behind me, I'm in the kids' playroom right now, so that's the children's wall of fame behind me. But
It's not yours?
it's, well, you know, unfortunately, all of my children are better artists than me. So, and if you see what's behind me, that's not saying much. But I do want to take a minute to welcome Letitia. Letitia has been a business development rep one on our team for about 3.5 years now. We've recently been able to promote her to business development rep 2, where she's working with Jeff in the small business space. And just want to, it's, you know, it's always a great day when we can advance our own. And so I just with just a quick moment to recognize an outstanding member of our team, but also just to extend greetings on behalf of the department to all of you, and just say how nice it is to be with you this afternoon.
Taylor, thank you so much for taking the time out. We have missed you. And even if we have to see you in your kids' playroom with the art in the background, it is truly a pleasure. And I thought I was talking when Letitia was on the line, but I saw that I was on mute. So Letitia, if she's there or gone, thank you so much, Letitia, for taking the time out today to provide us the update in regards to the golf tournament. And certainly thank you as well, Taylor. Are there any questions? Any additional questions? No? All right.
Madam Chair, this is Olga.
Yes, Olga.
Are we supposed to share an invitation to the golf tournament? How does that work? On social media, for example, the NBC?
I do believe in the past, in years past, we have always participated in the golf tournament. It is usually held in May. Is that correct, Taylor?
Madam Chair, that is correct. It's normally held in May, but obviously because of the pandemic, we have exercised sort of as much caution as we possibly can. And so I say tentatively scheduled. We are scheduled for the end of October, and assuming that the numbers stay where they are now, we feel very good about that date.
Again, Taylor, what was that, October 30th? Did I hear you say the 30th?
I believe, yes, it is October 30th. Letitia, if I'm wrong,
That's correct.
on that, but I believe that's the Friday before Halloween.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm not real sure. I think we may have received some information before in regards to a request to participate in the golf tournament.
So I can speak to that. We as has always been the case in years past, Madam Chair, we would welcome a team from the Business Council in our golf tournament. There's always been NBC representation in the tournament. We'd love for that to continue.
Okay, thank you so much, Taylor. We really appreciate it. And certainly if we have any additional questions, we will circle back with you as well. And so with that being said, in regards to the golf tournament, Lavera, how do we proceed, or should I ask Rod, how do we proceed at this particular point with the tournament coming up in October?
Well, as in the past, Rod, do you want to respond or you want me to?
I'd like you to respond.
Okay. In the past, we've just requested an invoice from Economic Development, which I will do so. I'll reach out to Letitia or Jeff and get the invoice. And then you can put together your team. You've had in the past a foursome. And that came from the NBC, and you first come, first serve if you want to get a team together. So whoever's interested in doing that, I guess they should contact you, Madam Chair.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Lavera, and I'll work with you on getting an email out to NBC members and associates as to who may want to participate.
Question. So do you need to know how to play golf?
Yes, that would be great, Francina, because we do want to win.
Oh, okay. If it's
So-
about style and having a fashion outfit, I'm with you, but driving the car, yeah.
Yeah, we need you to know something.
Okay.
Francina, are you right-handed?
Oh, I'm in the hand you want me to be. I
Okay,
am.
well, I got you some clothes. Just see me.
Okay. But I will be the best dressed with a hat. I'm just letting y'all know if I am.
So Francina, you ain't got to know how to play, but it's gonna make for a long day if you don't. And your meeting is long.
Exactly. And so we don't want to be out there for a comedy, Francina. That's all I'm saying. Uh-oh. I think something has happened.
I figured I'd be
No,
entertaining.
we
with
hear you.
COVID. I haven't been out socially in a while, so that was going to be my outlet. But that's okay. I'll appeal to those serious golfers.
So much, Francina. Now something has happened to my screen. I'm not real sure what's going on, but if you all can hear me, that is great.
We can hear you.
Okay, great. And so thank you so much again, Taylor. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Lavera, for that update. And then we'll get the email out in regards to those that will participate on the foursome. But it sounds like Francina is already the driver. She believes her hat will allow us to be successful. Okay, in regards to NBC officers discussion. Remember on last month, we had talked about, I think, a few things in regards to officers for this particular year. And so I'm asking, is there any other questions or concerns at this point?
Madam Chair, this is Olga Torres.
Yes.
Yes, I am very interested in continuing to move forward, and I believe at this time the best way to do that is to not have the nomination, to delay the nomination process until next year due to unexpected and unanticipated effects of COVID, which has had on all our activities. I don't believe it would be fair to have an election or nominations at this juncture, given that the incoming officers would be serving a very short year on their first term, and they would see them out of being able to grow into those positions and represent the NBC accordingly. So I would like to propose that we delay the nomination process until next term, which is usually the spring of 2021, or usually in the spring. So that means the spring of 2021.
Thank you so much, Olga. Are there any additional concerns?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Francina.
No, I'm just saying I support what Olga said. I was thinking there's been so much dynamic since COVID, and most of us are small business owners, and a lot of us are keeping things running, doing what we need to do. And I think after October, we don't meet again, I think, until, correct me, either January or February, then we've got a couple months to May. So if the current slate is hopeful, and we will, to support the remaining term of what they're doing, but for a little bit of stability in a world of total uber uncertainty, I think it kind of echo what Olga was saying. It'd be, I think, prudent if we can stay as is until we do our formal process again in May, when we start doing the appropriate way of nominating folks.
Thank you so much, Francina. Anyone else?
This is Olga.
Madam Chair, I'll just note that, of course, the bylaws didn't contemplate COVID, didn't contemplate any of this stuff. And it sounds like Olga's kind of made a motion and Francina's made a second, that we not have, and not try to rush appointments and have an officer only serve a couple of months in the term, but to stick with the status quo. And then next year in April, you'll appoint the nominating committee, and we'll have an election in June. Maybe it'll be in person, maybe it'll be in WebEx, but we'll have that election in June and move forward. So if that's the will of the MBC, that's a permissible way forward.
Okay, thank you so much, Rod. So at this particular point, does that mean that we need to vote? Lavera need to do the roll call and we do the vote? Lavera, can you assist with that? And my apologies because there's something going on with my screen. I don't know if you all can see me, but I'm glad that you can hear me.
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you. I will go ahead, I will do the roll call. In favor of delaying officer elections, Kelvin Arthur, Harshad Barak, Francina Harrison,
Yay.
Ed Hopper,
Yay.
Ron Lewis,
Yay.
Clarence Neely. Clarence Neely, you're on mute.
Yay.
Thank you. Francis Thompson,
Yay.
Olga Torres,
Yay.
Damon Watson,
Yay.
Sheila Johnson.
Yay.
That concludes the vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lavera. So we'll move into liaison report. Is Councilman Lewis Jones on the line? Is Councilman Rouse on the line?
Madam Chair, I do not see either of them on the line.
Okay. School board liaison report is Dr. Lakeisha Parrott on the line?
Madam Chair, I do not see Dr. Lakeisha on the line either.
Okay, I just want to give one reminder, of course, to submit your volunteer forms. The last time we did that electronically, and I think you all sent us a link. Keith or you, Lavera, sent us a link last time so that we could complete and then send it back to you. Will you all be doing the same thing this time as well?
Yes, I'll be sending you guys the form that you need to fill out, and you can just email it back to us.
Okay, and I think last time it was a fillable document as well, Keith. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Is there anything else, ladies and gents?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Olga.
Yes.
I'm really sad that Colleen is no longer going to be with us. I mean, I have no other way of putting it. She's just been such a dynamic member.
Yes, she has.
Yeah, so I'm going to miss her sorely. I know she's not completely going away, but I'm going to miss, having her solid support and the labor and the hard work she's put in. However, we really need to consider, who we might be able to bring on board to fill her vacancy. And I wanted to know if there's an opportunity to have a discussion about that today.
Probably, I think we can, but I think probably the executive board would probably need to get together to sort of discuss that. One of the pools that we do have, of course, is the associate pool, which is very strong. And so I plan on, calling an executive board meeting within the coming week. And that is one of the items that's on the agenda, Olga. And then, I just say, same here. Colleen was definitely a force. One of the things that she did communicate was that just because she's not here does not mean that she is not available to support the NBC.
Good.
But her plate was so full at this particular point, and she had to step back from something.
All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're certainly welcome. Anything else, guys? And I say guys, ladies and gentlemen. Well, if nothing else, it is 4:03, and I call the meeting to a close. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and Francis, we're coming to your house because evidently that's where the sunshine is.
Actually, Claude, the MAC community knows how to do our backgrounds. That's what's up. The MAC community knows how to do our backgrounds, y'all. Brandon, I'm with you, girl. I found the button. I'm with you. It's just us. Our secret though, friends.
Well,
Y'all have a good
are we
weekend.
in Jamaica? Are we in Jamaica with you? We're on the island. We may have to come there. I don't know.
They like my hat and my golfing in Jamaica. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, this year. And so we appreciate it, guys. You have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk
Bye,
soon.
y'all.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
I
Thank
noticed that
you.
I turned the volume down so feedback wasn't so bad on my computer. Just a thought for next time.